So the new Final Destination Bloodlines, this will be a quick review. I will get this out of the way, guys. I have not seen any of the Final Destinations movies, and I know I'm a horror person, self-proclaimed horror fan. I love Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, all the big franchises, but also the weird, obscure 80s, 70s, 60s. I love black and white horror movies. I mean, the Christopher Lee Hammer horror is great. Point is, though, I've never seen Final Destination. I saw this movie because there hasn't been a Final Destination movie since 2011, so I figured, this will be a new start. I'm assuming they're making this for an audience of, new fans who haven't seen the past movies. And I do know that the movie has to do with death, or the kind of Rube Goldberg effect of death. Everyone always talks about the famous truck scene with the logs rolling everywhere, or the scene where they're on a plane and the plane crashes. I really don't know much about Final Destination, except there's cool ways for people to die. So going into a movie like this, and that's my bias, I was very excited for this movie. I also saw this movie in 4DX, which I will say, I think this is one of those rare movies where 4D is probably the superior choice to IMAX. Because 4DX, where the seats shake and there's motion and there's wind and effects, light effects as well, it can be distracting. People are right to point out that, let's say you see a movie like Red 1 or Venom, I saw those in 4D. I saw Red 1 in IMAX, which is crazy as well. But they're just distracting. They're unnecessary effects. Sometimes it's kind of fun, but unless you're seeing a movie like Twisters or Dune, or recently I saw Mission Impossible, and it had a couple of cool scenes. But yeah, usually IMAX is the best way to see a movie. I think Final Destination's great in 4D because it isn't a movie that benefits from having a massive screen. It's a pretty average looking movie that mostly looks like it was shot like a commercial. The 4DX elements, though, are excellent because so much of the pivotal scenes rely on those. And where you see an action movie where it's just constant action and the seats move and it's a little distracting, I think 4DX actually locks you into the kills here because the kills are the best part of the movie. The opening sequence itself, which is the best scene in the movie, is great in 4D. There's a scene where this penny is rolling along the floor and you kind of know it's going to lead to some kind of destruction, like the penny gets stuck in a fan, which then leads to the engines of this building shutting down and the building starts to slowly collapse. Watching that in 4D is great. It really is great. It's a literal theme park ride. But I want to get into the actual content of the movie now, not just the format I saw it in. Guys, I didn't love this movie, and a lot of people are saying this is the best movie in the series. Now, I haven't seen any of the other movies in the series, so telling you that now, I don't have any comparisons. But what I did think about this is, from a pacing point of view, it wasn't that great. I don't like that the first sequence in the movie was the best sequence. To me, right away, any movie that does that, I just automatically have this ick for. It's not like, I'm biased against the movie, but you have to keep building up and up and up and have cooler and cooler and cooler kills. The fact that we go from this awesome sequence in a skyscraper, which is backstory, but then we just get someone gets trapped in an MRI, someone chokes on glass, someone gets run over by a lawnmower. I don't really remember much else about those or the other kills, and it's not even like they're scary. It's just, gory moments that are very quick. Also, another issue I had was the characters themselves just aren't memorable. I know that apparently Tony Todd is the only character who appears in all of these other films. I honestly thought I was missing information. I thought most of the characters in this movie had previously appeared in other Final Destinations. I was pretty surprised that I think it was only Tony Todd who's in the other ones, and most of these characters are just, in this for the first time. So for this to be a movie kind of about a girl who's getting a premonition of death, and her family has had that premonition before, and apparently it's a thing, you can see death coming. I just don't think this movie did a great job at showing that, or adding this edge of this horror or thrill. It just feels very corny and cheesy and commercial, and it's almost not a comedy, but it has that, issue that a lot of modern horror films have, where it's not horror, it's like the radio silence movies, like Abigail or Ready or Not, or the recent Scream movies. There's just a lot of funny stuff that isn't even funny. It's just kind of like a light tension. I don't know, the thing about this movie I just didn't like is that it's not scary, and the kills were not memorable, and the characters were not memorable. It really, aside from being called Final Destinations, which I know is a huge blockbuster name, this just feels like something that could drop randomly online on some shit streaming service. Like, I just didn't think this was a great movie at all. And it's 93 on Rotten Tomatoes baffled me. Now, I won't lie, I was a bit drunk. I actually had margaritas with my friends watching this movie. It felt like the perfect movie to have margaritas with. So maybe I was a bit, like, not in the best state to watch a movie. I honestly never even drink watching movies for that reason. I want to have my full focus. But I thought Final Destination, like, it was a Friday night. Overall, though, I really did want to like this movie. It just did not feel like it was giving us all we could get. I thought we could get a cooler ending, cooler characters, better pacing, better set pieces. Let me know what you guys think. If, there's something I'm missing, if I may be, reading the movie wrong or I'm looking too hard into it. But that's how I felt about it. And I did want to put this review out, even though I haven't seen any of the others, but I do plan on watching them. So let me know what you guys think. And thanks so much for watching this review. Let me know if there's other reviews you want to see. Thank you so much for watching again. Take it easy, guys.